the Jets do need an edge rusher. They need a veteran corner to help out over there.
But if they fill some of these slots in free agency, like if they go and get a pass rusher, you no longer need a pass rusher. If they like, not that they would, but if they went and signed Mitch Trubisky and said, oh, he's our quarterback now, well, then you're not drafting quarterback probably.
Well, here's the thing: if
let them plug the holes in free agency to see what could be there or what their plan could be.
Jeff, have you heard what Joe Douglas has come out and said? He wants to build his team through the draft. He is not going to overexhaust the spending spree that every Jet fan wants him to do. He's not doing that this year. He's not. He's going to bring in maybe 2 or 3 free agents. He's not going to overpay them. And you saw the NFL came out today that the salary cap is actually down 8%. So they're not going to have as much money to work with as they thought they were. So, I mean, with the COVID-19 situation. So, to me, when you look at the big picture right now, the Jets are not going to build around free agency, and as well as they shouldn't. No team has ever become successful as a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl contender building around free agency. They build around the draft.
I certainly think they're going to build that offensive line through free agency. If you like, I mean, it would be my guess. I mean, no one really knows for sure, but it would be my guess they're going to go after Joe Thuney, who doesn't look like he's going back to New England. Mm-hmm. It would be my guess that they're going to find another offensive lineman. If they get 2 veterans like that are solid veterans to play offensive, well, then you've just built your offensive line.
Well, if they can get Thuney, but there's a lot of people that are going to be interested in Thuney. It's not just going to be the Jets.
Especially with Scherf now franchise tag because he was
Jacksonville.
Big guard, yeah.
Jacksonville will definitely look at Thuney. They have a lot of money to spend with Trevor Lawrence. They want to protect their franchise.
There's not as many teams as you think that are going to be interested in
the Bengals
because there's only like 6 teams that have salary cap space. Look at what the Saints are doing today. They cut Quan Alexander and Emmanuel Sanders and one other dude, and they're still $30 million over the cap. There's no way they're going to cut half of their franchise just to bring in Joe Thuney.
Well, the Saints don't need him. They don't need offensive line.
I understand that, but I'm just saying most franchises are in that position where they're, cutting salary, not trying to take it on. The Jets are one of the few franchises that can take on salary. So they're probably, you mentioned the Jaguars, they have some room too. Those are probably the two. One of those 2 spots is probably where Joe Thuney's going to end up.
Bengals.
Well, Jacksonville doesn't really know an offensive line either. They need a lot on defense.
The Bengals and Miami too. But all 4 of those teams are looking for offensive line help, and all 4 of them have the money to make that move.
Miami's out. They just traded for Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
Isaiah Wilson, is he a starter though type though? Just because he was a first-round pick?
That doesn't mean that they're not going to go after him. I do believe that they'll go after Thuney. I don't think the Jets are going to overpay for Thuney either. We've seen Joe Douglas. He is not going to overpay. He's going to give you top-heavy money in the beginning of the contract, and he could be able to buy you out or release you the second or third year. I could see him doing that with Thuney if they do bring Thuney in. Maybe give him a 4-year deal where a 2-year option where they can actually walk away from that contract. I could see Joe Douglas doing that. You can't? Jeff?
It's entirely possible that could happen, right? But they're one of the teams with, one of the 5 teams with the most money. So, they're really sitting in a good spot where they can get some deals on players and really build their team. Like, dude, John Brown got released today. You wouldn't like to see John Brown on the side of Denzel Mims?
Listen, I think the Jets need a lot of wide receiving help. I mean, Jamison Crowder and Denzel Mims are not enough. The Jets I think they need 2 more weapons. I really do. I think they need a number 1 guy, and I would say they need a number 3 guy. And I'm not talking about Jamison Crowder's a slot guy. So if you want to call him a number 3 guy, that's fine. I call him a slot guy, and you need 3 guys besides a slot guy. I think you need 4 quality wide receivers to succeed, especially with the injuries that you're going to have to deal with in the middle of the season with one of these guys or 2 of these guys.
Right, but they could go and pay Thuney. Just throwing names out there, not that these would be their targets, but they could go and pay Thuney and Emmanuel Sanders and John Brown. And then what would they really need? A pass rusher? Big deal. They can.
Big deal. They haven't had a pass rusher.
That's their bigger need more than the receivers.
They haven't had a pass rusher since John Abraham.